Mom, stop lying. You're not sick and you never were. The knife in my hand hovered just above the roast. The room froze. My aunt's glass clinked against the plate. My younger cousin dropped her fork. Dad looked up, confused, and Mom stared at me with her perfect fake fragility. Her hand trembled, touching her chest like I'd just shot her instead of exposed her. Rachel, she whispered, how can you say something like that? On Christmas? I didn't raise my voice. I didn't cry. I didn't even blink. I just looked at her and said, because I found the truth, and I think everyone sitting here deserves to know it. The silence wasn't shocked, it was thick. Like everyone had felt something off for years, but didn't dare admit it. My brother opened his mouth to say something, but then closed it. Typical. I stood up slowly, napkin sliding off my lap. And in that moment, I wasn't the daughter who always obeyed. I wasn't the one who excused, defended, or stayed silent. I was the one finally done pretending. Growing up, my mom wasn't the kind of parent who nurtured, she performed. Every scraped knee turned into her fainting from stress. Every family gathering became about her latest test results, or some vague episode no one could verify. And I played along. For years. I remember my 13th birthday. I'd made my own cake because Mom said she was too tired from her medications. I put up streamers, set the table, and even wrapped a few gifts from Dad to me because he was working late. I blew out the candles alone, with Mom groaning from the couch, asking if I could turn down the music because it was making her headache worse. By high school, I had memorized the names of medications she never actually took. I was the one calling ambulances when she faked passing out. I skipped prom to stay home with her because she said her blood pressure had dropped, only to hear her laughing with her sister on the phone 30 minutes later, like nothing happened. And still, I gave. I cooked when she said she was too weak. I handled bills when she claimed the stress would kill her. I canceled dates, missed job interviews, and even moved back home after college because she hinted she wouldn't survive without me. But it wasn't just about her pretending to be sick. It was the way everyone else played along. My brother, Nathan, was the golden child. He'd visit once every 2 months, bring her flowers, and she'd light up like he was the sun. He believed her, or maybe he just didn't want to deal with the truth. Meanwhile, I became invisible. Not rebellious. Not loud. Just the one who handled things. Who fixed things. Who suffered quietly. I used to think if I was good enough, if I loved hard enough, she'd stop needing to pretend. But it never stopped. Because the truth was, her illness wasn't in her body, it was in her need to be the victim. And I was the easiest one to cast as the caretaker. Until I decided I wouldn't play that role anymore. It started unraveling 2 weeks before Christmas. I was going through the mail when I found a hospital statement addressed to Mom unopened. I wasn't snooping. It was just sitting there, mixed in with the bills I always managed for her. Out of habit, I opened it. No upcoming appointments. No tests. No billing history for any of the specialists she claimed she was seeing weekly. In fact, it said she hadn't checked in with that clinic for over 8 months. At first, I told myself there had to be a mistake. Maybe she switched providers. Maybe they messed up the paperwork. So I asked her gently, cautiously, as I always did. Hey, Mom, the hospital sent something weird. Do you want me to call and check it for you? She snapped instantly. Are you spying on me now? Do you think I'm faking this? She didn't even blink. That night, she told Nathan I had accused her of lying. And within hours, I got a message from him. You've really crossed a line this time. Maybe it's best if you don't come to Christmas dinner. No explanation. No conversation. Just rejection. The only thing I got from Mom was a short, cold text. We all need peace this year. Don't bring drama into the house. That was when something inside me broke, not with rage, but with clarity. They weren't just ignoring the truth. They were punishing me for no longer hiding it. I didn't reply to her text. I didn't argue with Nathan. I didn't send any long explanation or emotional plea. I just stopped. Stopped doing the grocery runs. Stopped managing the bills. Stopped checking her blood pressure apps she never actually opened. I canceled the pharmacy reminders I had set up on my phone. I even deleted the emergency contact label I'd given her number. And for the first time in years, I slept through the night. There were no posts. No dramatic unfollowing. I didn't even tell anyone what was happening. I just let the silence speak, and it spoke louder than any confrontation ever could. It was strange at first, waking up and not wondering how she was feeling or if she needed anything. But slowly, that anxiety I used to mistake for love, it started to melt away. And in its place, space. Peace. The soft kind that doesn't beg for attention. I went for walks again. Watched movies without checking my phone. Said yes to an invite from a friend I'd ignored for months. The world didn't fall apart. And I realized something no one had ever told me. I wasn't cruel for pulling away. I was surviving. It came from someone I barely knew, my cousin's wife, Leah. We'd only met a few times at family events. She was quiet, kind, always watching more than speaking. We never really talked beyond polite small talk, until she messaged me out of nowhere. Hi, Rachel. I hope this isn't weird, but I just wanted to say something. I've been around your mom enough to notice a pattern. And I saw what happened at Thanksgiving. I think you're incredibly strong. I blinked at the message. Read it twice. My hands actually trembled. No one had ever said that to me. Not even close. She continued. It's not my place to judge, but I used to work at a caregiving center. I've seen families where the emotional caregiver gets punished the most for simply not playing along. I just wanted you to know you're not crazy, and you're not alone. I didn't even know Leah knew I hadn't been invited to Christmas. But apparently people talk. Quietly. Honestly. Away from the performance. 2 days later, my aunt, the same one who'd clinked her glass in silence at dinner, called me. Sweetheart, I had no idea you were handling so much, she said softly. Leah told me some things, and I think we all owe you an apology. We just didn't see it. Or maybe we didn't want to. It wasn't everyone. Not the whole family. But it was someone. It was enough. Because for the first time, the story wasn't being told by Mom. Someone else saw me. Not as dramatic, bitter, or rebellious, but as someone who had endured more than she ever let on. And once that illusion broke for one person, it began unraveling for others too. 3 days before Christmas, Mom called. Not to apologize. Not to ask how I was doing. But to say, let's not make this a bigger deal than it needs to be. I didn't respond right away. I just let the silence fill the space she usually dominated with tears or sighs or coughs that never needed treatment. Then she added, you can still come to dinner. Let's just reset. Reset. Like the years of manipulation could be wiped clean with a polite tone and a forced smile at the table. Later that night, Nathan messaged me too. We're all stressed. Mom's been really emotional since that day. Maybe just don't bring up the health stuff again, okay? We don't need more drama. No one said, we're sorry. No one said, you were right. Instead, they wanted silence. Peace, on their terms. My aunt, the one who'd started seeing through the cracks, warned me gently. She's asking people to keep things quiet, says you misunderstood. But Rachel, people are starting to see her patterns now. It's just taking time. And that's when it hit me. They weren't reaching out because they missed me. They were scared. Scared the version of me who always stayed silent might finally speak. It was late Christmas night. I was curled up on the couch with a blanket, sipping tea, watching the snow fall through the window. No lights, no noise, no chaos. And then my phone buzzed. It was a voice memo. From Leah. I hesitated before hitting play, unsure what to expect. But the moment her voice filled the quiet room, I knew this would be different. Hey, Rachel. I just wanted to say this before the holidays end. I don't know your whole story, and I won't pretend to. But what I do know is you're the kind of person who holds everything together while slowly unraveling herself. And people like that? They're rare. I pressed the phone closer to my chest as her voice continued. I saw the way you handled your mom at that dinner last year. You were calm when she twisted your words. You stayed quiet when she cried on cue. But I saw you. I really saw you. And I want you to know, you're not invisible. Not to everyone. Tears slipped down my cheeks before I even realized I was crying. You didn't just keep things running. You did it without asking for credit, without asking for anyone to pick you. And that's the bravest kind of love. The hardest kind. But it shouldn't go unnoticed. I sat there in the dark, her words wrapping around me like a blanket no one else had ever offered. And then came the final line, the one that broke something open inside me. You didn't just survive your mother's story, you stepped out of it. And that takes more strength than most people will ever understand. I listened to that voice memo 3 more times that night, not because I needed proof, but because I needed to remember. Sometimes, the deepest healing comes from being seen, truly seen, by someone who doesn't owe you anything at all. The day after New Year's, she showed up. No call. No warning. Just her car pulling into my driveway like nothing had happened. I watched from the kitchen window, mug in hand, heart steady. She walked up slowly, wrapped in her favorite gray coat, holding a small tin of cookies like it could erase a lifetime. I opened the door, just enough to stand in the frame. She smiled, that soft, tired smile she used when she wanted sympathy. I thought we could talk, she said. I nodded slowly. Not in agreement, just to show I heard her. But I didn't move. I didn't want us to start the year like this, she added. We're family. We should try again. There was no apology. No mention of what really happened. No ownership. Just that same, practice performance she wore like perfume. I looked at her. Not with anger, but with calm.
And then I said it.
Quietly.
Clearly. No.
Her face froze. Like she couldn't compute a version of me that didn't bend, didn't plead, didn't try. I'm not angry, I said softly. But I'm done pretending this doesn't hurt me. Then I stepped back and gently closed the door. No slamming. No yelling. Just peace. And this time, it wasn't her peace I was protecting. It was mine. For so long, I thought love meant endurance. That if I just gave more, forgave more, sacrificed more, eventually, someone would see me.
Choose me.
Love me back in the same quiet, loyal way. But some people only love the version of you that makes them comfortable. And when you stop shrinking to fit that role, they call it betrayal. Here's what I've learned. Sometimes, your healing will offend the people who benefited from your silence. And that's okay. You don't owe anyone access to your peace. You don't have to show up to every holiday, every conversation, every guilt trip dressed as reconciliation. Sometimes, walking away isn't cruelty, it's clarity. And to anyone out there still trying to prove your worth to someone who twists your truth, stop. You're already enough. You're not broken, just unburdening. And that version of you? The one with quiet boundaries and steady hands? She's not cold. She's finally free.